What's going on YouTube? Darksword255 here with the numbers may be randomly generated, but the content itself is not, and we are doing another account takeover for a nameless Ronin. We are doing an account takeover here, guys. He is actually very new to the game. As you can see here, his account is barely, almost 2 months into the game. And let me tell you guys, this account is already stacked. So in today's video, guys, I wanted to make a little bit of a helpful guide per se. So when I started Raid, I know like snooze, many years ago, I fell into the trap of just buying a lot of shards. I would buy a lot of ancient shards. I would buy a lot of really like sacred shards because I like pulling, and I also thought, hey, if I got all of these legendary champions, then my account would be goated. But that about half of that is true, right? The thing that is so great and unique about Raid Shadow Legends, guys, is that there is so much minute detail that goes into every aspect of the game that it's not as simple as a standard gacha game. By just getting the heroes, you need to not only get the heroes, but you need to get the gear, you need to get the relics, you need to get all of these different components to make those champions godlike, which is how they're designed to be. But with a brand new account, you know, we all fall into that trap of buying shards. So we're going to go over, if you guys are going to spend money, the best way to maximize your dollar and make your account amazing. To become part of my team, click the link in the description right now to get Elenaril for free, as well as 3 more amazing epic champions as you level up. Here's how you do it. Log out of Plarium Play on your PC and uninstall it. Click the link in the description, register with a brand new email, launch Raid, and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champion. Don't miss out on this chance to get a free Elenaril along with 3 epics as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's get started. First off, if you are going to buy shards, the best time to buy shards, if you have a brand new account or a very new account, you want to buy shards and do shards during certain events. Right now there's a 2x void event, meaning that you have 2 times the chance of getting a void legendary. So if you have a brand new account, this would be the time to buy and or use those pulls so you can be able to get the best chance of unlocking champions. Now, I think if you have a brand new account and you are going to spend, stay totally away from the progressive champions. Is just totally not worth going for. You really want the 2x's because right now with a brand new account or a newer account, like I said, this account is under 2 months old, you want to be really mainly focusing on getting those epics and getting those legendaries, and these events are the time to be doing those pulls. Now, let's quickly go over his roster here, guys. Again, it's amazing. It is amazing. He already has a Nell. Having a Nell in general, I would love this for my account, is insane. He has almost all of the turtles. We're still waiting on the Leo event, if that will ever happen. They keep, pushing the event back and then it's obscure. Who knows if we even are gonna get the Leo event. Okay, enough of the jokes, but his roster is actually insane. He has Shredder, he has a Seer, which is also goated. He has a Podrag, which is amazing. He even has a Ganute, guys. This account has gotten some absolute insane pulls. But again, guys, the thing that is holding this account back is the gear, guys. As we can see here, he does not have a lot of gear. He does not have a lot of variety of different options laid out for him. So how can we make our champions that we are pulling for the best possible champions that we can, to really maximize the potential of every one of these champions? Now, obviously, that is going to be doing dungeons. There are 2 really important dungeons. When you are progressing through the game, you want to do Spider. You want to get to the highest level of Spider that you can. Obviously, if it's a brand new account, unless you, like I said, you get really crazy, it's going to take you a while to get through Spider. But if you can get to Spider hard, that is amazing. Any of the hard dungeons gives you the ability to unlock and get mythical gear. And with accounts really, I think progressing higher in Spider is more imperative because getting high quality accessories will progress your account exponentially faster and easier than necessarily getting, you know, certain gear sets. When you're building a brand new account or an account that has been playing for a couple months, you don't focus on the gear sets, you focus on the stats that the gear gives you. Meaning, for example, here we can look at speed. If we get 2 pieces of speed, right, we get 12% speed. But there might be 2 different like combinations of sets that might, or like I said, lifesteal, which is 30%, you know, healing from the damage. But like, what happens if I can only get 3 pieces of lifesteal and then I have like a toxic boot or a destroy chest piece, and that makes my champion stats even better? Then at that point, it's actually better to go for the stats until later in the game where you could be a little bit more picky. Now, I think he has a ton of energy. How do we want to utilize that? So there are, like I said, the main resource that we want to really be focusing on is the accessories. And obviously with progressing high in Spider gives you the best opportunity to farm silver in the game. Now, you know, you want to do the highest Spider that you can. And obviously you're going to be, you know, looking for certain accessories, like certain quality accessories. But a lot of that time, like I said, you'll get a ton of silver, and silver is used to level up that gear. It's so important. So you really want to try your best to get as high on Spider as you can. And then the next thing you want to do is lower the time that you're able to do it. My team, for example, on my account can finish Spider 10 in 4 seconds, right? Obviously for this account, that's a little bit pie in the sky. And also for most accounts, that's still a little bit pie in the sky, right? So, you know, we don't necessarily care about that. Dungeons that we want to try our best to focus on: Fire Knight and Dragon. Dragon, primarily for early game progression because of the speed set, makes the game a lot easier, right? Again, you know, this particular account, he is, I mean, 7 minutes is a really long time, but again, he doesn't have the gear. He doesn't have the gear to make his champions run this dungeon very quickly. So this is what he's working with, right? Yeah, I went down a very similar path. I bought a lot of shards. I pulled a lot of shards. And then I was confused why I like these great champions that I was getting with these pulls. I wasn't really able to like do these crazy damage numbers. And again, it's because I had bad accessories and I had bad gear. Progressing in Dragon for early game, mid game, you want to focus on your Fire Knight, and then really Ice Golem is, in my opinion, really good for accessory. When I say accessories, right? Curse gear is amazing. Provoke gear is just okay, but or in Reflex, it's also great. So these bottom 3 sets are great, but they're depending on. They're very situational, right? Fire Knight is amazing because of the regeneration gear, goated. Savage gear, goated. Everything else, a shield set, if you have a Titus team or Titus in general, is really the only, you know, reason you're going to be using sealed. I'll say it's okay. It's about a 6 out of 10 set. Just for Titus teams. Only for Titus teams. Shield sets suck. Anyways, and then like I said, Dragon has a lot of decent progression gear, and I say decent kind of in quotes. Toxic if you're struggling to get extra damage on clan boss. Lifesteal if you can't progress through the campaign. Obviously accuracy if you need those accuracy numbers to land your debuffs, and speed is, you know, there's a lot of early game progression gear sets in here. So like I said, Dragon, so you need Spider first, Dragon second, or really kind of you're doing Dragon and Spider at the same time, right? Everything else does not matter right now. With the event dungeon, this is another thing you should be doing as well. If there's pinpoint gear, which this rotation for the event dungeon, it's the new chronophase gear, which is good, right? And you absolutely should be doing a little bit of this, but if you're really looking to accelerate your progression, you really want to focus on these two. This account in particular, since he already has so many good champions, there's no way that he's going to be able to farm. Let me look at this guy's team. Yeah, he doesn't have any frost champions that I've like quickly looked at. So, you know, he really wants to kind of farm probably either these high-end dragons just because he has a chance of dropping mythical gear. this would also be a good time to farm Fire Knight just because of the 3 times greater chance of getting Savage gear. But for the most part, Dragon and Spider is going to be what you're really focusing on. And honestly, you want to not be as picky as like for gear until you get to the max limit of accessories and artifacts. You just get as many pieces of gear as you really can, and then when you get to that cap, then you can be picky, but that's a topic for another video, guys. Also, what you could hinder your account, guys, is obviously not having a lot of knowledge in the game, right? So there's a ton of champions here that we could be leveling, but let's first, like for an example, you don't necessarily know that burn champions, or like let's say you get an annex here and you're really struggling in clan boss, right? But you really don't know like how he works, right? So we just don't level him, or we just use him as food, right? So it's a little, you got to make sure you need to know who you are leveling and who you are not going to level. So going into the game a little bit more with a plan instead of just like, hey, this champion looks really cool. You really want to build all of your teams before you start really getting rid of champions. For example, the most important team that you really want to do is getting all the way to Ultra Nightmare. And of course, you know, like I said, you know, every account is not going to be, you know, at this level, but if you're an account that is spending and you have the champions that you have gotten, everybody's main goal is to be able to 1-key Ultra Nightmare, because Ultra Nightmare gives you the ability to get legendary books as well as sacreds every single day, twice if your guys are knocking it down. So yeah, I mean, he is a seer, like he would be able to make, I mean, this is an unkillable team right here, but he would be able to make like a team around some of the champions that he has for clan boss, right? And then you want to go to Hydra, then you want to look at a Chimera, right? Like everything is done in stages. The most important is getting to Ultra Nightmare, then secondary, doing just the minimum chest over here in Hydra, and then obviously Chimera. And Chimera is even more important because of how powerful relics are in the game. They're just so unbelievably broken. And obviously, you know, as a newer account, you know, you're not really going to be getting anything totally crazy, but you know, I digress. So if you guys are going to be spending money on this game, buying shards at opportune times, good times to buy shards, I don't know why I can't say that word right now, is what you want to do. Number 1. Number 2, do not buy anything in this game other than energy. There is no reason to buy gear sets. There is absolutely no reason to buy silver. Never buy silver in the shop. A good pack, if you are going to get the monthly gem pack, which he has, this is a really good pack to get. But again, really never a good reason to be buying energy. You really also don't really want to buy souls, because they're really expensive and the pull rates are just really terrible, right? They're just not really that good. But you know, like buying this pack right here, man, I wish I had this pack. I would buy it. If you bought this pack, this would be a really good pack, right? Because then you could wait. There's a fusion coming up and he can really utilize all of these resources on that fusion, right? You want to use you want to buy shards at like at really good moments. You want to use your energy to get that gear so you can level up your guys to make them stronger, so you do more damage, so you get better rewards. You know, the different steps here. Gems are fantastic. Never buy silver, never buy, unless it's really, again, if you're an early game account, do not even think about pulling for like, if it's not a 2x, you're not pulling, like, unless it's a fusion. If they have a fusion happening and the champion is good for the fusion, that's when you're pulling. But other than that, you are hoarding your shards until these 2x events, guys, right? And then you're going to be collecting as much gear as you can until you get that limit. And then you can start kind of cleansing the gear after you gear out your champions, right? So these are some very minor tips, guys. We're definitely going to be back on Nameless's account in the future. He wants me to help him with Hydra and Chimera, so we will dive a little bit more into that when he has more silver. So make sure, guys, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss content like this, and I will see everybody in the next video.